shows. Just because you got a little stumble doesn't mean you can't just try again. Go for it until that whistle goes.
Our new event leader, the Storm, Nadia Stowers, has amassed 5 reps with seeming ease on the 210-pound log.
Athletes, you need to start warming up for the yoke. Lee was looking for you backstage to get you poised and ready. 82-kilogram women, please start your yoke warm-ups.
I think that is our ladies complete there.
That wraps up the 82-kilo category. All right, and I'm going to take a break for myself and tap in. And tap in someone else. I'll be back in a while.
Okay, we're about to start with the men's 105-kilogram log, the MBPC Monster Log Challenge. 60 seconds will be on the clock. 136 kilograms will be our first log, and Evan Singleton in the house, looking stacked as ever.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, baby.
Woo! What a guy.
Welcome to the gun show. Gabriel Pena, is he going to match it?
No, I think he's good.
I think he's tired. He's done a hard slog on the commentary.
He sure has. He has nailed it.
So 136 kilograms will be the first log if you choose it. If you don't, you can go to the 330-pound, 149.5 kilogram log, which is big.
That's a big log. It's a big log. But we're up in the weight category now. We're on the 105, so we need those heavy weights for these boys.
So looking back at that, what we just saw in the women's, Nadia Stowers there at the end.
Yes, she is some woman.
Yeah, let's just digest that for a second. She actually probably did almost too many logs. I didn't catch the final score. Did she win it by some margin?
Yes, she did. I think she got 5 in total, which I think was a 3-rep lead.
Yeah,
I believe so.
That was impressive, wasn't it? Really.
Yeah, she was amazing.
Especially when you consider the first log she threw up, it was a bit of an effort. She started staggering backwards, but then really managed to get into her stride. And let's see how these guys do. There's some well-known faces in this bunch of men, the under 105s. Probably some of them started the day at about 120 kilos.
Oh, definitely.
Or a couple of days ago anyway, or now 120 kilos, I should say, after their weigh-in. And
some of the ladies there cheering them on.
Yes, indeed. Great atmosphere here at the Coliseum, the Veterans Memorial in Madison, Wisconsin. We have our 105s, the biggest of the big men, still warming up at the back. And so there's still plenty of action here on the official Strongman Games feed. If you're joining us on officialstrongman.com, welcome. We're about to start. First event for Luke Davies and Gavin Bell, a Welshman up against an American, will be our first pair out. And you can see Luke Davies, 15 years competing. He's well known to the British and world scene. Great deadlifter. Be interesting to see how he gets on with these logs. Gavin Bell. Well, Gavin's actually been a helper at these events before, as well as competing. And we wish him well here in this competition up against Luke Davies.
Here we go.
Baptism of fire here against Luke.
Interesting to see where these guys decide to start off. Are they going to go the lighter log or the heavier log?
Well, we are talking 330 pounds, only a 30-pound difference, but significant. Looks like 300 pounds is the choice for these two. And Gavin Bell straight in there.
Nice clean.
You want to get that first one in nice and clean. Oh, really deep dip from Gavin Bell. He's obviously relying on his... Goodness me. Luke's all right. I think we have a bit of a shoulder injury there. Is it bad enough to retire? Clearly not. He's seen his share of injuries, Luke Davies, no doubt.
Hopefully it's okay. And he can get this next rep because it was so close.
Luke, round
And he got it.
Well, great recovery there from the Welshman.
Sometimes that first rep, you just need that little bit of kick up the bum and then get it done. Now he's got that confidence there. Can he get another one? That was pretty solid, that rep.
Yes, any event where there's a certain amount of balance and timing involved, sometimes it just doesn't help to have too much overactive nervous system kicking in. There's certain things like a simple squat where having maximum aggression is magnificent, but yeah, a log, you've just got to pull it back from the edge, haven't you? Or you can just overcook it.
Yeah.
And those jittery nerves are a little too much. Now, Alexander Bromley, as well known for his YouTubing success as he is for his strongmanning these days. It's good to see him at the official Strongman Games. He's a seasoned veteran, 20 years in the game, 5'10", 38 years old. Lane 2, Canada's Philippe Dumont-Bouchard, just 23 years old. Tim Mikowski of the USA in lane number 3. And down the end on the right, it is Nick Hine of America, who sprints straight out to that 330-pound log, and he's not messing around. We have all 4 on the 330 here, and Nick Hine presses it like he's pressing a couple of pillows. It's unbelievable power there. Bromley goes dizzy on the first log and goes back to the 300.
Nick Hine, wow. What form, technique, stabilization. Can he go for that next rep?
He's looking absolutely rock solid, isn't he?
Pure upper body strength.
The Canadian, well, he's managed one so far, can't do another. And in many ways, well, there's no point in going backwards. You might as well just attack that maximum log. Any reps on that log will trump anything from behind. As Hine continues on here. He's done 4 so far. This for 5.
Go on. And he gets the down signal. 5 reps for Nick Hine. Wow, he has set the standard for the 105s.
Absolutely world-class pressing there from Nick Hine of the USA. 5 repetitions in 60 seconds with a 149.5 kilogram log. And a great start to our men's 105s. And straight out with the next 4 men, Matt McKeegan, a well-known face to the European scene. He's a top-class competitor, great presser, and a man who has to really starve himself down for this 105. Josh Walton in lane 2 of England. We have USA's Aidan Howell in lane 4, and finishing off this quad is Justin Loy down the end, 32 years old for America. So McKeegan, well known to the strongman scene. He's won European, British, Irish titles abound, but looking to try and win the world title here in the under 105s. Let's see how he gets on at the start. On the far left-hand side, the Irishman, first up with it, though Howell very close as well, getting the rep. And we have a good rep for all 4 so far.
Matt took a stumble there and costing him that rep.
Aidan Howell managed his second with those long flowing locks, and look at that. Oh my goodness me. I think Howell gets the 3rd. Yes, he does, and McKeegan drops it on his shoulders. That one's going to hurt in the morning.
Sure is. He's not stabilizing very well overhead, and it's costing him the reps because the strength is there. It's just the stability once he gets it there.
Well, he's one of these guys who does lose a lot of weight coming in to hit the 105 kilo mark, and you just wonder how much of that hinders him when he gets to competition. Balance being one of the things most hurt by low levels of fluid in the body, and he looks a little dizzy staggering off here. But what a performance by our 2 middlemen there on 3 repetitions. It was Hine who led the way earlier on with his 5 reps on the heavy. And we've seen Walton on 3, Howell on 3. That's how our leaderboard goes so far.
I think Matt looked a bit disappointed leaving there. Like you could see the strength was there. But like you said, there was big cuts we made, maybe just not enough power to get that stability at the top.
Yeah, so he paid the price perhaps, and was the first man to get the log up for the first repetition, but Things came to a crashing halt after that as Thomas Owens, Boyd Francis of England in lanes 1 and 2, with Ben Gutsky and Kevin Candido in lanes 3 and 4. So America on the right-hand side, England on the left, if you like. This isn't a team competition, but it just so turned out like that by the random draw. Then we have 2 Englishmen in lanes 1 and 2, 2 Americans on the right, all going for the 330. And it's Boyd Francis who gets it to his chest first.
Nice clean from all athletes, and wow!
Wow, synchronized log pressing.
That was beautiful.
Could be a new Olympic sport.
Ben and Thomas there with that powerful, explosive movements. One split jerking, one power jerking underneath.
Now, Thomas Owens, his rep counter hasn't changed. I don't think they gave him that rep down the bottom. In lane 1, here we are with the green hair. So he's still battling to get his first rep.
He's got 2 repetitions. Now Gutsky looking to get
2 reps indeed for Boyd Francis so far. There we go. Thomas Owens gets off the mark. Surely a solid rep there. And Candido, again, very solid indeed. He's on 2 repetitions. So a pair of men on 2 and a pair of men on 1. Ah, no, actually, did they take away the rep there in lane 3?
I'm not sure if they just...
Or maybe it was just the changeover here so quick. You're not even off the mat before they're already rearranging. So I think it probably was 1 good repetition indeed. So
judges, make sure you have the right athlete in your lane.
Yes. When you've got 400 athletes, you can hear the MC there. Make sure you have the right athlete in your lane, because that's how they sync it all up. It's a machine here. From the television graphics through to the scoring, everything has to work in perfect sync and harmony. Now, Steve Bradley of the USA in lane 1, Adam Kempton of Wales in lane 2, and it's Jared Hanna of lane 3 of the USA. Goes for the 300. The other 2 men on 330.
Wow, Adam there. Nice lean back. Power through. Seemed nice and easy for him.
Yeah, the old incline bench technique. I'm not a huge fan of watching it, to be honest. I tend to watch it through my fingers.
Yep, I agree.
Things can go wrong when you start to do that, but it reminds me of the old-fashioned clean and press, where you weren't allowed to use your legs, so you very quickly thrust your hips forward. But it certainly is working well for Adam Kempton.
Stephen Bradley fighting out, successful on rep number 2. Now it's Kempton. Rep number 4.
Can Adam get that extra rep? He needs to get 5 reps to match with Hein. He's got 10 seconds.
He's on 4. This for 5. He goes backwards over the head. Doesn't get it. And well, lane 2 still on, or rather lane 1 on 2 repetitions. So a good effort there.
Kempton's 4 reps put him into 2nd place all by himself. And to stack up with 3 reps will now be...
4 reps by Kempton. That slots him straight into 2nd place in the overall leaderboard. Hein is the man in the lead on 5 with the heavy. And Walton down in 3rd position on 3 reps. Cameron Day of the USA. Josh Harrelson of the USA in lane 2. Tyler Buxton of America. In fact, these are all Americans, as Gabe Velasquez is in lane 4.
All American heat right there.
So we get underway then, and the middle 2, Harrelson, Buxton going for the 330-pound log. Day and Velasquez sitting back on the 300. Day fails it straight away, and it wasn't even close. Harrelson doesn't have a good lockout there. Ooh, didn't get it. Or did he? Yes, he was given the 1.
Been given the 1.
Or was that the scorer being a little quick? We'll soon find out. He doesn't have a good lockout in his left arm, if you watch him, Harrelson.
Oh.
Tyler Buxton. Nice press out. Gets the down signal.
20 seconds left.
I'm not sure we're going to see any more reps here. I think we've just about maxed out with these guys. Maybe Harrelson, if he can just time this right. He maybe just has enough power. He was the first one to get it up.
You have to be quick.
No.
These are big weights. But we did see some reps in that heat, and that's what we want to see.
So it's Dylan Darmstadter of the USA BJ Goss, Matt McQuiston, and Christopher Otero. So 3 Americans, 1 Canadian. While Hine still leads with 5 repetitions. Kempton in second on 4 reps. That performance from Hine is one of the performances of the day. His log press was really magnificent. Evan Singleton, not sure what he's doing. He's making a cameo up the middle there, but
it's getting out the way.
Getting out the way as quick as he possibly can. Is near a 400-pound hulking frame. And there's many stars actually watching on here, from Nick Best to Evan Singleton. We had yesterday Braun Strowman from WWE watching on. Adam Scher, as he was known in the Strongman days, as Matt McQuiston in lane number 3 goes for his second, looking really solid.
Working on the 300-pound log, as is Darmstadt.
Oh, just a little dip in those elbows. Didn't get as much power as he needed to get the arms up, get that log above the head.
Dylan Darmstadter goes for another attempt, doesn't get it, and walks off in disgust, I think. Oh, on the head.
Oh!
Are they going to pull him back for that one?
Did he get it?
5 seconds remain.
Well, I don't think so. If you balance it on your head, you're normally told to put it back down. 4 reps than it is for McQuiston. And he joins our leaderboard of stars with Hine on 5. He'll be equal second with Kempton on 4. And Walton gets bumped from our top 3. So Damien Cabotany of the USA, Martin Garcia also of America, Alec Sukup also of the USA, and down the end, the Scotsman, Gavin Bruce. The Bruce in lane 4.
Gavin Bruce, a good friend of mine, so I'm looking forward to seeing him compete here. This is his first year. I know he was super excited to get over here.
So which log do you think he's going to go for?
What is the weights? The first one.
Yeah, 300 pounds.
I think so.
Still a significant weight.
Oh.
136 kilos. No.
Oh, I was wrong. Go on,
149 and a half kilos. He's going for the big daddy. And on the left-hand side, Capadani trying to pop up the 300.
Single motion coming from Sukup.
Go on, Gav.
Sukup indeed gets the rep 1 with a bit of a single motion press, and so too in number 2. That's impressive.
Wow.
Just snatching it straight up from his hips.
Beautiful.
Little muscle snatch, if you like. And well, Bruce has dropped back to the back log. Interesting. Capodny did the first log and then stepped forward, having built his confidence up, and went for the second log. That's really impressive and interesting tactics.
For sure, some people just feel like they need that extra little bit of warm-up, and so they save it for there, knowing that if they can do that and it feels comfortable, they're going to give it a go.
Why exhaust yourself on something you might not do? And Alex Sukup, he's an incredible dynamic athlete. He nails 5, he equals Hine, and he goes equal first in this men's 105 kilo log press challenge. The MBPC Monster Log Challenge. We have a 2-way tie at the very top as Nick Stock, Damon Curtis, Darcy Flaska, and DJ Doggett come on out in the next foursome. So 3 Americans, 1 Canadian. Flaska in lane 3. Some intensity out there now. Evan Singleton, he's refixing the logs. That's what he's doing. He's doing his bit. Good for him. And one of the things about these logs, the heavier logs, you can see the ends are larger. And that, just by the physics of it, causes greater rotation as you clean it. And that's one of the difficulties with these 330-pound logs, is as it comes to the chest, it's going to continue to come at you. And that made that muscle snatch even more impressive, the one motion.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
Next Stock on the left-hand side. Goodness me, there was some power there. Oh, he's trying to do the one motion. I love it, the cut-off jeans.
Big reps. Every point counts here right now.
Needs to be clever here now and really use those legs.
Preserve your energy, use those legs, and try and get that second one up. It would give him massive points in terms of overall leaderboard.
There we go.
Yeah. There could be one more there. 20 seconds to go here.
I think
Right
he's got
now-
another rep in him by looking at that last one.
Yes, the other 3 men on 0 still. This could be huge. It is. And you just think, what could have been? He could get another one, can he? No, there goes the whistle. That missed rep, he's going to rue that. Three repetitions. Probably could have been, should have been 4 repetitions, in
Yeah.
which case he'd have been there alongside Sukup, or rather Kempton. Sukup and Hine lead the way on 5 reps. Tyler Pruitt of the USA, Kyle Garanz also of the USA, Kyle Norton and John Alamo are in lane 3 and 4. Norton, our Aussie, stands 6'1". Kyle Garanz, 6'3". Tall man in the 105, so it'll be interesting to see how he presses here. He's got his eyes on the 300 log rather than the 330. And there is Odd Haugen, 74 years old. One of the greatest grips in the world, and a bit of a YouTube star as well, as you may have seen. So Tyler Pruitt on the left-hand side steps forwards to the 330. So too Norton and Alamo. And it's Alamo who he bangs it up, but he didn't pause at the top and goes for it again.
Has to hold it at the top and show control to get credit for the rep.
Gosh, he did 2 reps there, Alamo, but doesn't get any credit for either of them. He just didn't hold it at the top at all. And Kyle Norton, legs go wobbly at the bottom. As he tries to hit it, he should go back and give that one up.
Now, Pruitt is successful.
And I think Pruitt nailed that one down the end there. So Pruitt is the first man to go clear with 1 rep at the heavy one. Or did Alamo get his rep? He did. He's got 1 rep too. So it's a 2-way tie at the moment.
Yeah, I'm glad he got that one. Like you said, the first 2, he just didn't quite hold it long enough, and it's a lot of energy wasted, that.
And Pruitt hits it for number 2. Yes, he gets it, surely. Right before the whistle, and Alamo's going after the whistle. He might as well stop. A lot of energy wasted with Alamo. It was another story of what could have been, but 1 rep at the heavy. Could have been 2 or 3, the way he powered up those first couple without getting credit for them.
Something that needs to be rehearsed in training. Something I always tell my clients is, you know, a couple of seconds at the top, because when you're in competition, sometimes...
Edges ahead of Stowers, not by much. Both athletes, it's got to be tough for those cars to go down so close to the finish line,
Yeah.
but they look pretty happy that it's done.
They're always smiling.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was neck and neck. Took it in turns all the way up. But it was Chelsea that took that heat. Well done, ladies.
Well done indeed. All right, we are going to get the cars reset for our men's 105 kilo category. And Nicola, I'm going to give you a little break while I bring in an American legend, Mr. Zach McCarley, to join me on the mics here. We'll see you back in a bit, Nicola. All right. Zach, welcome. Good to have you here on the ADL Live production broadcast of the official Strongman Games. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm good. You've been really busting your rear out there helping to reset every event after event. We've dubbed you and the rest of the crew the Fire Ants.
Oh,
Red
yeah?
shirts, especially when you get that bird's eye view, it looks like a very coordinated effort to move these weights that are so much heavier than your own body weight.
Yeah, there's a ton of coordination going on out there, and there's a lot of different layers going on. And Lynn puts on a fantastic show with a ton of just a ton of experienced individuals and a lot of other individuals that are great at learning and just working hard all day, like
Indeed.
grinding.
And a lot of these individuals I have seen at every competition I've been at as a commentator too, the same people over and over again. They know each other, they work well. It's a very collaborative and coordinative effort.
Yeah.
And thank you for being here as part of it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
How have you
Likewise.
been? How have you been? You are a American legend, a former America's Strongest Man, and
Current.
yeah, well, pardon,
Sir.
Pardon. Well, I meant to paint the illustrious career you've had. How dare I? Yes, you are the reigning America's Strongest Man, and you have won that before. And I have seen you from the very early days of my career. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good.
You look pretty good.
Yeah, body's feeling good. you know, and I'm a little older, a little wiser.
Yeah, well, wiser,
you know?
that's the key
Yeah.
right there. What is it like to see the new generations of athletes and the world's strongest contenders here at OSG?
Oh, man, there are some really bright up-and-coming athletes, and they're training really well, fantastically strong, very driven, and it's a pleasure to be a part of that, because you see that these new athletes are standing on the shoulders of those before them, and that's how it should be.
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
that's the way that it is, and that's the way that it should be. Those athletes should be able to learn from the generations prior, and I think that we have athletes now that are training smarter, training just as hard as people in the past, and that are learning from mistakes that have been made by generations of athletes. And I think that we will see the sport in the next couple of years evolve into a level that it's never seen before.
I feel like we're already saying that now with this year and each of the past years. So it gives me chills to think of the years on the horizon, 25, 26, 27, and so on. It's going to be a beautiful future.
Absolutely.
But thinking of the current standards and the standards that we've shattered of yesteryear, 900 pounds faced the 105-kilo athletes on this car walk. What do you think of that weight, that tonnage?
I think it's heavy, but I honestly think that in the next we have athletes in the field that could do 1,000. We're going to see some of these athletes smoke that 900 pounds. Like, it's going to be ridiculous.
Do we see sub 15 seconds here?
That's going to be a really good mark. I think we could see something. If an athlete were flying, they could achieve 8 seconds, but I think I think the winning number will probably be 9 seconds, because, well, you know what? We might see an 8-second, but I would feel very confident to say we will see a 10-second run.
All right. Well, let's see it. The first heat is off. Gavin Bell of the USA in lane 1 and Alexander Bromley of the USA in lane number 2. Gavin is moving fast, but every drop is so costly and critical.
Oh, yeah, and that absolutely kills your core and your legs. It's so much easier to be standing and moving and flowing with the implement instead of it jerking and jarring you around as you pick it up and try to get it moving, and that's going to torch those legs and that core.
Yeah, look at him. He is just impacting the ground over and over. I'm wondering, maybe he should have just taken a little bit of a lower peg, but talk about relentless.
Absolutely, yeah, and that's one way to get it done for sure. I mean, there are going to be some athletes that are not able to finish that because, even though I said that some of the athletes here are capable of maybe 1,000 pounds or moving it in a sub-10 time, to finish this is incredible in itself. We're talking about 900 pounds. That's 4.5 grown men on your back.
It is insane. We have seen a trend relatively maintained as close as possible of a quadruple bodyweight range for this car walk.
Yeah.
That's insane, but I love it.
Yeah, exactly, right? Isn't that the theme of Strongman? Insane, but I love it.
Yes, that could be a motto for the sport.
It really could. It should be.
Yeah, our next heat, Tim Mikowski of the USA will be in lane 1, Cameron Day of the USA in lane number 2, and Gabe Balacio wearing his iconic hat in lane number 3. Gabe, look at that. He is young, 24 years old. He's been competing for 2 years now. He always smiles every time I see him, just like in his bio. But right now, he is all focus, ready to operate.
And something that impresses me about some of these athletes is the training age of some of them. We take Gabe, for example, over in lane 3. He only has 2 years competing in the sport, and he's already competing here, taking on this 900-pound yoke.
Yeah. Well, did you see Filip Zajíček of the under-90s, our Czech athlete, 19 years old, coming back after competing last year as an 18-year-old and winning the car walk?
I did see. How long has he been training for?
He's been competing for 4 years.
Uh-huh.
He competed at the OSG finals last year for the first time at 18 years old.
Wow. So he's, obviously he's competing with the open age group, because we do have an age group yesterday that went all the way up into 20 years old.
Right. So he should be competing there, but he knows he's capable of more, and he proves it.
That's awesome.
The athletes are off. Tim Mikowski is edging ahead with Cameron Day narrowly behind him. A smooth and steady run for Mikowski, and he will win it.
Very smooth.
Cameron moved very well. That will make Mikowski our new event leader. With the fast time, I do believe that is a sub 15-second finish already shown here.
That was a very smooth run, and I might be eating my words about that 8-second, 7-second yoke because that was quite fast. And we have a lot of athletes to go. You know, this is only the second heat.
20 seconds.
I don't think anyone gets faster than 8 seconds. I know Mark Felix got 8 seconds flat, and he flat out ran with it this morning.
Ooh.
So I think that'll be the standard of speed and power. But Gabe is really struggling to get any more distance. Zach, how much of a factor do you think age and experience compounded over the years is with something like the yoke or the car walk?
I think there's a sweet spot, you know. Take this for example. You know, if you're an athlete that has not seen many yokes and you're looking at the yoke event and you're saying 900 pounds, well, maybe if I hit like a 920 in training with my normal yoke and my normal circumstances, that's going to go great. And it's, you know, I'm going to be all the it's going to feel the exact same. The reality is it's not going to feel the exact same because this car has really a really wide base between the rubber wheels, and those wheels don't skid. You may see that when the wheels are hitting the ground, they are grabbing onto the ground really aggressively and starting to turn some of the athletes and creating a lot of torque in the movement, and it's breaking the rhythm. It's making it much more challenging in that way. So, you know, this is a much more challenging yoke because the base is so wide that you have to keep the yoke from swinging. So you can't have a pick and an aggressive start necessarily. You have to pick and then more steady start. So while some of these athletes may be able to achieve, you know, as we mentioned, like a sub-8 yoke with a normal yoke, with this one, it's going to be a little bit more challenging.
It's quite a profound thought to think of that you need to glide with 900 pounds on your back, but that is crucial and critical to get there without those wheels biting down.
Absolutely. Yeah, and it's one of the things that I tell a lot of athletes that are just coming into the sport is this is probably one of the most flowy events. You have to be able to move with the weight, because when we get to a weight that's, as you said, 4 times your own body weight, you're not going to be able to muscle that around. There's no way you can physically muscle it around. Even if you are strong enough to do that, the weight will throw your body around.
It's all physics, and it all goes down to our skeletal structure at the same time, too. Here is our next heat. Dylan Darmstadter of the USA in lane number 1. BJ Goss of Canada in lane number 2. Gavin Bruce of Scotland in lane number 3. And Damon Curtis of the USA in lane number 4. Dylan Darmstadter has been competing for 10 years, a full decade, and is our veteran in this lineup.
That's a really good training age, 10 years, a decade in the sport.
Yeah, and at 31 years old, he is in his strongman prime, I feel, right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, those early 30s are fantastic.
Damon Curtis is ahead, but BJ Goss has now pulled into the lead.
Nice and steady. Oh, and those drops really hurt you. We had BJ in the lead and just had a little drop right there, and he might have got edged out by Damon.
I do think BJ did finish in first, but that was really fantastic to see how close lanes 2 through 4 were.
It was a good race, very neck and neck.
Indeed, and Dylan is not really showing we might have an injury or something. No, okay, that was just the crew hustling out there for the reset. Dylan is good. He just called it quits there, and he's walking off the field quite nice.
Absolutely. So what, speaking from experience, for you, what does a 900-pound yoke feel like on your back? Like, can you compare it to anything else in life? Can you be like, well, it's like picking up a really heavy person?
It's hard to put into comparison for people who haven't actively trained with heavy weights, because it is something that is heavy, especially in yokes in excess of that 800-pound range. Mm-hmm. The first thing is when you feel that compression on the spine, it's like every soft spot in your body is just ready to explode outwards. If there is a soft spot, that immense amount of blood pressure spike, you can feel the veins popping out in your forehead, everything. For someone who just jumps right into it and hasn't adapted their body to that compression steadily over weeks, months, years, whatever you have it, it is a shock to the system, and it can easily lead to someone flat out blacking out because it's that much pressure.
Mm-hmm.
So it literally feels bone crushing. Bone crushing would be the adjective I used to describe it. And I mean, rightfully so. It's 900 pounds, but at that mark, 800, 900, 1,000, 1,100, every extra 100 pounds is literally a whole new level of torture. And as much as the athletes who are getting into the sport want to feel like, oh, I want to just jump into my first training session and do 700, 800 pounds and just see what it feels like, it's something you have to hammer your metal with progressively over the years.
Mm-hmm.
There is that adaptive response, and if you don't have it, your body will go into shock and you will flat out have your system shut down and the lights go out.
I love the way that you put that, because that's my experience as well. Even if you are physically capable of muscularly strong enough of picking something this heavy up, oftentimes the brain will sense the strain and the blood pressure spike, and it'll say, you know what, I'm going to turn the lights off. I'm going to keep things a little safe.
Yeah, that's the defensive option. Let's not persist and have anything bad happen.
Yeah.
But our next heat is preparing on the arena floor. Darcy Flaska of Canada in lane 1, DJ Doggett of USA in lane number 2, Kyle Gerrans, USA in lane 3, and Kyle Norton of Australia in lane number 4. DJ Doggett, I have my eyes on him because he is excellent at moving events, and it's not surprising at a height of 6'4" tall. That is an impressive stride. Bit rocky off the start. And he goes down. Norton of Australia pulls into the lead.
And you can see those wheels catching, that yoke starts to rock and the front wheels or back wheels start to catch, and then it really just throws you off.
Well, he's got it.
Yeah, he finished it in a very solid time.
Should be sub 20 seconds, which will put him on the top 3 leaderboard. DJ Doggett not far behind him. Gerrans and Flask are still struggling to get down to at least the halfway mark.
20 seconds.
And I think that this really shows how good Markowski's run was earlier when he just blistered the course with that sub 12 run. It was very impressive.
It's nuts. Getting sub 20 is very incredible on its own, but to get below 15 and get closer to 10. That is the mark of practice and speed and power and precision.
All right, looks like in lane 1 we have Luke Davies from Wales. In lane 2 we have Jared Hanner from the USA. In lane 3 we have Christopher Otero from the USA. And in lane 4 we have, can you help me with this name?
Philippe Dumont-Bouchard of Canada.
I like that
lane
name.
Number 4.
That's a fun name. We don't have fun names like that in America.
I love the names where you've got multiple, 3 or 4 names all lined up or connected by hyphens. It's beautiful.
That's awesome.
But Philippe will be our youngest athlete and our greenest athlete out there. He's 23 years old, 5 foot. Well, that makes him 6 feet tall. And he's been competing for 1 year.
Yeah. So again, training age at least in this sport is very young. Sometimes we see a lot of strength athletes from other sports transfer in. So I am curious to see how Philippe does on, we'll say the deadlift. Maybe he has a powerlifting background that we don't know about. He's a little bit of a wild card, right?
He might be. He is undoubtedly young and fresh in the sport. So I do think that this event, like we've been talking, is something where the athletes who have been at this for a long time, been walking the path of a strongman, tend to be hammered in a good way against yoke. We saw it with Gabe Balacio. He is very young, even with 2 years of competing. It was tough for him to move down that course.
Yeah.
I think we'll see someone like Luke Davies or Christopher Otero moving very well, whereas Philippe, it might be a struggle. But I really hope he proves me wrong. I would love to see him sprint down that course and edge out Mikowski. We'll see.
And Christopher Otero, I always see him smiling, and I think he always takes first place in who's having the most fun.
Yeah. Well, look at his Instagram handle, Chris Ego Lifts. He is someone who just enjoys it, and not losing a sense of the fun aspect of the sport is the essence of longevity.
Absolutely. And Christopher off to a very strong start.
Good stride, a little bit of a teeter, but not enough to make those wheels bite, and what a great time.
That was a fantastic run. Yeah, Luke Davies currently in second in the heat in lane 1. Had a little bit of a drop right there. Let's see if he can finish it up. Jared just behind Luke.
Only a meter to go. He's completed the
Good completion from Davies. And here comes Hanner. Unfortunately, Philippe Dumont-Bouchard is still struggling to get to the halfway mark.
20 seconds remain.
I hate to say I had called it, but you need that experience compounded.
Absolutely. And so, from a technical side of things, it kind of does look like, maybe his hips are a little too far back as he's trying to pick it earlier, and he's kind of leaning a little too far forward. Yeah. Those front wheels are hitting.
If you don't have those hips stacked directly beneath the shoulders, directly beneath the bar, you are essentially always leaning forward. And at 900 pounds on your back, there's such a big footprint on this car.
Mm-hmm.
There's just no way the body can stay erect.
Yeah, that's it's very punishing, to say the very least.
Indeed. Our next heat, and we still have many more to go. This is Thomas Owens of England. There he is. He will take lane number 1. That's Thomas, the green Mohawk. Ben Gutsky of the USA, lane number 2. Josh Harrelson, USA, lane number 3. And Tyler Buxton, USA, lane number 4.
What's some things that surprised me? I've known Tyler Buxton for a couple years. We actually live in the same state, Washington State, and he's fantastically strong. But I didn't realize he'd only been training strongman for 5 years.
Wow.
He from what I've seen from him, he typically competes like someone who's getting pretty close to like the 10-year mark. I think that he's a very mature athlete, and so I always love to watch him compete. A little bit of I have some appreciation for him. And then also Thomas Owens, wildly talented for only being in the sport for 2 years. Holy cow, I did not know he was only in the sport for 2 years.
Yeah, he is a powerhouse of an athlete. He's got such a wide upper body. You always think in this sport, this is such a back-powered sport. I know you have the overhead presses that require the shoulders, but that overhead press strength is nothing without the upper back or the back defense. Same for the deadlift. A good core component and hip strength is here. You can only imagine that is an asset for him to have such a strong back.
Absolutely. And, if our audience looks at the live leaderboard real quick, you'll see that Christopher Otero almost got first place. At least our current first place, but he came in second place by less than 0.2 seconds.
Yep, and we saw that phenomenon happen over and over again in our under 90 kilo class. We had so many placings, all sub 20 seconds, and even the top 3 were all 10 seconds or less in our under 90s. So I imagine with at least 3 heats left, I think we might have 4 heats left. That we're going to see some even tighter groupings here. And Zach, you called a potentially 8-second finish. I really hope we see it. And if we do, it's going to come from any of these athletes in the latter heats who prove themselves in the log. I know who is laying in wait. Sukup.
He's a monster. I'll tell you what.
Both of those Sukup brothers are monsters.
Yeah. Oh man.
The athletes are off.
Wow, that's a pretty solid start.
Ben Gutsky has found his groove, is looking smooth. This will be a great run from Gutsky. I don't think it edges out the top 3, but
I would agree with you. But a very solid run. Tyler Buxton finishes up as well.
Buxton was looking good. He was first out the gates and was good in the lead for a little bit, but was rocking and had a costly drop.
Yeah, had a midfield drop. That's a tough one, But it definitely happens. And then we have Thomas Owens trying to finish up this run. He's about midfield right now.
15.
Got 15 seconds left.
Under 10.
It looks like he's going to come just short of finishing. 900 pounds, a little heavy. Right?
Understatement of the century right there. Yeah, it's heavy.
Yeah,
it's heavy indeed. There's our next heat. Damian Capadoni of the USA, lane number 1. Martin Garcia, USA, lane number 2. John Limo, USA, lane number 3. And Matt McKeegan of Ireland in lane number 4. This is our third to last heat. That means these are 4 of the 12 remaining athletes to take to the Jocko Fuel Car Walk.
4 heats left.
All right, fantastic. You know, one of the things that's standing out to me is Damon is he's only 21, but he's been training for 4 years at this.
These early starts, man,
Yeah.
it is just, it's incredible. And you can't help but imagine that to see them here means that they've had an excellent knowledge base or experience base behind them in helping them get to this level.
Absolutely. And we see Matt McKeegan smelling something right there. Have we talked at all about what he's smelling?
Yeah, we have talked about the smelling salts, but enlighten our audience in case there's anyone who's recently tuning in. Tell them what that is.
Well, smelling salts are ammonia salts. So those are something that a lot of the athletes will smell, and it kind of gets them in the zone, causes a little bit of an adrenaline spike. It is, for the uninitiated, a pretty unpleasant experience by all accounts. It's a bit physically painful to the nasal cavity, but it does bring about, we'll say, your full attention to the current task.
Yes. I like to think of the mind-to-muscle connection. All of those highways of neurons connecting the brain to the muscles are no longer operating at just 70%. They're operating at 100%. A massive amount of traffic and communication going from the brain to the muscles. That's what you want when you have a full-body communicative event like the car walk. You don't want to be half awake. You want to be fully awake.
Oh, yeah, and that will help you get there.
But if you're curious and you have an athlete friend who has some smelling salts, take a whiff. Let it wake you up and super jolt you a little bit.
Okay. Looks like we got this heat starting up. And Matt McKeegan is out nice and quick.
Limo a bit rocky and goes back down. McKeegan looking like a horse out the gates, moving fast.
Very smooth.
Hope he doesn't drop it.
You know, something that, every one of these athletes has a unique story, and, something that really impressed me is John Alimo actually tore his hamstring not too long ago. I want to say it was about 3 weeks ago.
Wow.
Yeah, and apparently it was a grade 2. For those who don't know, it's a moderately severe hamstring tear, and he's out here still able to compete. He was working exclusively rehab, and I'm just impressed that he's able to still be out here and competing.
Yeah.
Under 5.
He is a hungry individual. He competed here last year at the OSG Finals. Recently competed also at the Shaw Classic this year. Did well.
America's Strongest Man as well. He took
Yes,
second.
yes.
Yep. Very strong, just wildly strong athlete.
And I always love that his dad is here with him at every turn.
I love that
shouting
too,
out,
yeah.
Go Johnny, go Johnny.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And they're both just wildly pleasant. I've got
are.
the chance to sit down and chat with both of them, and they're fantastic people. So I really enjoy it.
Our next heat. Oh, I was wrong. There is quite a big tie for ninth place. So I believe I did hear Aaron West say that there are 4 heats remaining. It's a big category. Boyd Francis of England will take lane number 1. Kevin Candido, USA, will take lane number 2. Stephen Bradley, USA, lane number 3. And Tyler Pruitt, USA, in lane number 4.
Who here has been at the car walk since 10 a.m.? Let's hear your
Boyd Francis and Kevin Candido have amassed a good amount of veteranship in the sport. 13 years and 10 years respectively.
Yeah, those are some experienced athletes out there.
Yeah.
We don't really have the data on Stephen Bradley, but I do happen to train at the same gym as him, and I've seen him lifting, and he's quite strong.
We'll let that speak for itself.
Yeah, he's very strong. I'm excited to see him, in all these events, but I'm especially excited to see him deadlift later this weekend.
Look at that. See, still smiles on their face.
All right.
Strongman, it's more than just a sport. It's a giant family.
And if I'm not mistaken, I think Kevin Candido took 4th at America's Strongest Man this year.
I believe you're right. I know he was near the top of the pack.
He was it was a very tight finish. It could have gone any which way, honestly. There's a lot of talented 105s in America.
And they're off 900 pounds, begins to move down the course. Stephen Bradley pulls ahead, finding his groove and moving smooth.
Very nice and smooth. Now he's got to preserve that speed. It looks like he had a little wobble right there. That's nice. It's going to be close. If I had to put money on it, I would say that he probably came in third right there, is where I'm going to guess.
It is one of those things where I think 13 seconds moves by a little bit faster than you would assume. It'll be close.
Yeah.
Kevin Candido is the second in the heat to finish. Pruitt finds his feet under him again.
Yeah.
Boyd seizing the opportunity edge ahead, but both men can't seem to stay up.
Under 10 seconds.
And these speed events are so interesting that how punishing they can be when you can't finish it in something like, we'll say 15 or 20 seconds, and you're out there lifting it for 40, 50, 60 seconds. It takes a toll later in the weekend.
It absolutely benefits the athlete to be strong enough to get this done fast. That's less time under tension, less time being compressed, more time to rest.
Absolutely.
The important factor there. Does not look like Day will be edged out of third place. It is going to be tough to get on that leaderboard in the top three.
Definitely. We do have some very dynamic athletes coming up, though.
Dude, Josh Walton of England will take lane number 1. There he is. And look at the luscious locks of Aiden Howell letting it flow. He'll take lane number 2 of the USA. Justin Loy, a repeat offender here at the OSG finals of the USA. And Nick Stock, USA, lane number 4.
Has Justin Loy done the finger guns for the camera yet?
I don't think so. We need to see it.
I know. That's his thing, man.
He might be saving it for day 2 or 3.
Give the people what they want.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay? Give the people what they want.
I want some finger guns, Justin.
Yeah.
Come on.
Maybe if he finishes in first here, he'll start banging.
Yeah, I hope he does. All right. Yeah, and there Justin goes with the smelling salts.
Came through this very same system, out there getting his hands dirty, or trying not to, one of the two.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see this heat because in lane 1 and 2 we have some, some, as you would say, greener athletes, and then in lane 3 and 4 we have some athletes that are progressively more experienced in the sport.
From England is Josh Walton. Lane number 2.
Nick Stock has been competing for 15 years. That means he started when he was 13.
That's what I was just doing the math on in my head. I was like, that can't be right. What? 15 years?
I mean, I wouldn't put it past him.
Yeah. Impressive.
I'm watching lanes 3 and 4 to see them take off fast.
I'm watching lane 2. He's a very dynamic athlete. He's but he has got the speed wobbles, we'll say. Those tires are really punishing him. Yeah.
Wow.
Finger guns. Give him the finger guns.
Aiden Howell just cannot stop hitting the ground.
Oh, man. Woo.
I don't want to see a collision there.
Yeah.
Oh.
Josh Walton finishing up right there. And Nick Stock definitely going to finish. Just a little further now. Awesome. Whole heat finishes.
There we go.
Do we have, it's one more heat that we have, is that correct?
Let's see where Justin
1 or 2.
Okay.
I think he's going to rock up into the third
Justin
spot.
Loy
Yes, he does.
moves into the 3rd spot with 13.03 seconds.
Holy cow. That is,
He's happy about it, but I'm sure there's also some feelings of, wow, I wish I could have gone a little faster, but a nice high five to Shelly Owens there.
So now it's Tim Mikowski on top. Chris Otero. in
Mikowski
second,
remains on
Justin
top
Loy
with Otero in
third,
second.
And only one heat
Loy in
remaining.
third. There it is. 1 heat remains. If we
Okay.
see that 8-second finish, this would be the heat to do it.
come on, guys. We'll see. It's I mean, who do we still have up? We have Sukup coming up, of course. And Who else? I know I did not catch his name, but there was a younger athlete out
Matt
there.
McQuiston out there. Nick Hine. Matt McQuiston, when he was competing at the Shaw Classic this year, I gave him the nickname Matt McQuixton because he moves very fast. I'm hoping that translates well to the car walk here.
Excellent.
He is a great athlete, but you know, if I were a betting man, Sokup will take this one. He is just an undeniably powerful athlete in every event.
Yeah, he's wildly strong. Nick Hine is so strong as well, though. You know, but this event isn't just about strength.
No, it's not.
You know?
It's about awareness of not just your body in motion, but also the car and its footprint in motion at the same time. That is training yourself to be aware outside of the limits of your own physical body, and that's something quite weird to wrap your head around, especially in the heat of the moment.
Yeah, you have to think of the implement and yourself as one system that's moving together. You know, namaste.
Namaste, brother. Sokup is wearing that gold leader shirt, highlighting himself in the eyes of every rival here. He will be a flash of yellow in their left peripherals. Adam Kempton of Wales in lane 1, Matt McQuiston, USA in lane 2, Nick Hine, USA in lane 3, and Alex Sokup, lane 4.
Lane number 4, wearing the current yellow leader shirt, Alex Sokup.
You know, I really don't know who I could call to win this one. You know, this heat. This is a very stacked heat. It looks like everybody's getting ready and just bracing. And Sokup and Hine are out quick, and so is Adam. Wow.
Nick Hine is pulling ahead, looking good, and he will edge out Sokup. Kempton goes down. It is Nick Hine.
That's a good run.
Matt McQuiston will take second.
Oh, and Adam looks like he may have bobbled right at the end. We'll see if he got it with that first drop. If he didn't, that will have cost him some places. Nick Hine slid into third with 12.69. So fastest run.
Look at this replay from ADL Live.
Yeah, wow.
McQuiston takes that moment of opportunity when Kempton goes down and becomes the second to finish. And there's Sokup again. I love that ADL Live instant replay. It's beautiful.
Yeah, so that means our top three are going to be Mikowski with a time of 11.53 in first place, Christopher Otero with a time of 11.69 in second place, and then Nick Hine shortly thereafter in third place.
Men's 105 kilo class, Tim Mikowski finishes in first, 11.53 seconds. In second place is Otero, 11.69 seconds. Now moving into the 12-second range is Nick Hine, 12.69 in third, 13.03 for Justin Loy, 13.19 for Cameron Day. Fractions of a second there, Steve Bradley, 15.07, and Ben Gutsky, 15.72. And look at that, 16.72, 17.34, 17.5 for 8, 9, and 10th place. Such a tight grouping, less than 8 seconds between first through 10th. And we still have all of these finishers, from Kyle Norton with the 17.7 second finish in 11th place down to Josh Walton, who gets 28.81 seconds. These fractions of a second result in a vast difference of points, which will be compounded over the course of tomorrow to yield our finalists. But the sheer amount of talent in the men's 105 kilo class is undeniable here.
Absolutely. We have 5 places separated by less than 2 seconds.
It's nuts. It's nuts. Moving on to rank 21 through 30, Martin Garcia gets 31.88 seconds for 21st place. We have Candido, Hanner, Harrelson, Bell, Stock, and Bromley all still completing the course, with Thomas Owens being the first athlete to not complete the course but get a valuable measurement, putting him in 28th place. Boyd and Tyler on the bottom there. Gabe Balaciar of Canada is in lane 1, Dylan in lane 2, Damien Capodoni, USA in lane 3, and Philip Dumont Bouchard of Canada is in lane number 4.
The lightweight, 750 is the heavyweight. Neither one of those are light.
All 4 athletes opt for the 645, and Philippe is the first one up.
From Canada, the first to strike.
Nice, easy reps there.
645 pounds.
Damien Capodoni will not make it to the top, and Dylan Darmstader, despite being in a heavier weight category, is clanging and banging. Philippe feels the pressure from Darmstadter.
Let's go.
Dylan is looking good. He's got 4 repetitions. Can Philippe get the job done?
Under 10 seconds.
Nope.
Despite competing in a heavier weight class, Dylan Darmstadter will finish as our current event leader with 4 reps, with Philippe Dumont-Bouchard of Canada in second with 3. Our next heat, John Alaimo of the USA will take lane number 1. Kyle Gerrans of the USA, lane number 2. Gabe Balacio, USA in lane 3. And Tyler Pruitt, USA lane 4, completing another All-American heat.
All-American heat right there for under 105 men. Heat number 2.
Of course, Gabe Balacio wearing his iconic green hat. John Alaimo is the first athlete to attempt the 750.
First one to attempt it.
And I don't think it'll happen. I think he needs to leave it there and move on to the 645.
I don't think he is. I think he's going to take a step back and go again.
It's going to be so hard for that to happen. He should not miss out on the opportunity to get points. No one has a rep at that heavy axle so far. And I know there will be athletes to do it. That's a gamble that he's really risking getting a 0.
And he's only got 20 seconds.
Oh, so that's...
Nope.
Johnny needs to get some reps.
10 seconds.
Oh.
Alamo now trying to get a rep in just so he doesn't have a 0 in the books. He's got 5 seconds left.
Oh.
Just before the lockout, that is where the gamble is not worth it.
Nope.
I hope athletes are paying attention to this. If you miss that first shot at the heavy axle, cut your losses and get back down and get some points.
Yep. Every point counts.
Hindsight is always 20/20, but if you're going to gamble at least with an exit strategy. Boyd Francis of England will take lane number 1. Thomas Owens, also of England, lane number 2. Nick Stock of the USA in lane 3. And Gavin Bell of the USA in lane number 4. This is England versus USA here. I want to see some reps at 750. It remains unlifted, and 3 athletes will attempt.
3 guys coming out for 750 pounds. Trying to see if we get that trunk weight. Francis, Owens, and Stock. Nick Stock to the knee. Up on the 5, looking to finish it.
Nice.
Nick Stock did not get the down command, and out he goes.
Boy, Francis is
He was holding it for quite a while. Thomas Owens gets a second rep, and Boyd Francis as well.
Meanwhile, Boyd Francis is
Stock has some very capable hands on him there.
3 repetitions for Boyd, 2 for Tom Owens. I think he's going to leave it there at the 2. And a single rep for Gavin Bell.
Looks like Stock has come back to his senses. His legs are moving and his knees are bent. He was fighting for that lockout for so long, and he just went down like a slab of concrete.
That's that max effort we were speaking about.
He is all right. He's coherent.
the room closed in around him, and next thing you know, it's lights out.
There he is. Back on his feet. The applause reverberates through the Coliseum. A man who laid it all on the field. Oh, and look, there's the T-Rex. I thought we lost him today, but he's back.
He's back.
And Nick Best. That is a very strong set of arms to help Mr. Stock off the field. There is an immense amount of pressure that builds up in the body with a deadlift suit on it. If you're fighting for that lockout for so long, it's not uncommon for that to happen. Our next heat, Josh Harrelson of the USA will take lane number 1. Jared Hanner, USA in lane number 2. Kevin Candido, USA in lane 3. And Martin Garcia of the USA in lane number 4, another All-American heat.
Introduce our full stars and bars.
3 reps is the reps to beat.
Lane number 1 will be Josh Harrelson. Lane number 2, Jared Hanner. Lane number 3, Kevin Candido. And lane number 4, Martin Garcia.
There we have game faces are on.
3 reps at 750 is the current lead. No gap to second place because it's 2 reps.
Here we go. And all 4 athletes go into 750. 3 is the number to beat. Here we go. Nice reps there. Jared and Kevin, good reps.
Now it's Candido and Hanner. One apiece. Harrelson gets his rep in, so it's 2 and 2. Candido
Harrelson with the shakes, but he gets the lockout.
tied for the lead.
He's happy with that.
Hanner looking to get that sit back.
3 reps there for Jared.
Now we have a 3-way tie for the lead with 3 repetitions. Candido looking for rep number 4. He wants that outright. Fights through the shake, gets the down call. That is your leader, USA's
Kevin Candido is our new event leader with 4 reps at the 750-pound axle.
Short time.
Oh. Just missed out on time on that rep. But good reps, nonetheless.
Big fight from Kevin Candido. Pulls through and gets 4 repetitions. He is now in the lead.
Our next heat starts with Josh Walton of England in lane 1, Luke Davies of Wales in lane 2, DJ Doggett of the USA in lane 3, and Aiden Howell, USA, lane 4. Aiden Howell goes by at World's Strongest Mullet on Instagram. Letting that hair flow.
And in lane number 4 is the USA's Aiden Howell.
Getting those head slaps. Rendition of Bill Kazmaier back in the day.
Athletes are away. 4 repetitions with 340.
Here we go. First 3 go in for the 750.
Is the mark to beat.
Josh Walton is the first one up, and he made it look good. Can he beat 4 reps?
He's now getting strapped in comfortable. It's a quick one.
You know, Luke Davies is a phenomenal deadlifter.
Got 3.
Davies just locks out his second.
Has 3.
Oh, 3, and Davies now has 4, tying the lead.
I think he'll take a number 5 to take that top spot. And he gets it.
Our new leader, Luke Davies of Wales, in lane 2. Davies is out of gas, as is Walton.
Luke Davies.
At 750 pounds or 300.
750 pounds, 5 reps. Great work there from Luke Davies.
Powerful, indeed. That edges out Candido. So 5 reps, 4 reps, and 3 reps is currently the top of our leaderboard. But these guys will contest it. Alex Sokup of the USA will take lane number 1. Gavin Bruce of Scotland in lane 2. Damon Curtis of USA in lane 3. And BJ Goss of Canada in lane number 4.
BJ Goss, Canada in lane number 4.
All going for the 750. 5 reps is that number to beat.
BJ Goss is the first to get a rep.
Goss is looking control, but those shakes are taking over. I don't know how many more he has left in him. Sokup.
Gavin Bruce just missing out on that. You can get it above those knees.
Sokup locked out 3.
Damien and Gav going back to smart move. Need to get some points.
Can Alec pull this off?
2 reps for Goss, 3 reps for Sokup. seconds.
Negative.
2 reps on that lighter bar now for Gav. Can he get a third? Just in time. Did he get that?
He did, literally right with the buzzer. 3 reps for soak up there on lane 1. That was our man who did those Vipers yesterday with 330 pounds on the log. Maybe those hips are feeling a bit torched, but he has also torn a hamstring before, so I imagine he's very vigilant of possibly pushing that muscle past his performance limit. Our next heat, Tyler Buxton of the USA will take lane number 1. Kyle Norton of Australia in lane number 2. Matt McKeegan of Ireland in lane 3, and Adam Kempton of Wales in lane number 4.
Here we go. Matt McKeegan, the only one going to the 750 in this heat.
Candido has 4 and Francis has 3 for the top 3 spots. Matt McKeegan from Ireland.
McKeegan makes it look good. I remember watching him on the deadlift last year, and he looked like an absolute pit bull
Yep.
attacking the bar.
5 reps is a number to beat. He's looking good so far.
3 for McKeegan, and he will lock out 4.
4 reps, he's tied Candido.
Needs to get 2 more to take that top spot. Come on, Matt.
Can he tie Luke Davies now?
Taking a long downtime. McKeegan on the way up for 5.
Looking to lock out number 5.
Ties the lead.
He's done it. He is now your co-lead. 10 seconds.
10 seconds. If he wants to try for one more, he's got to get into it nice and fast. Let's go. No. And that's quite normal for Matt. He's okay.
He is good.
It's quite normal. He'll tell you himself, especially on that deadlift.
Aaron West even say it wouldn't be a Matt McKeegan deadlift if it didn't end with the blackout.
There you go.
That was not a full blackout. That was not a Nick Stock blackout, we'll call. That was a very tender half blackout for McKeegan.
Yeah, that was just a little, I'm closing my eyes for a second.
He's coherent enough to scream at the camera, so he's good there. All right, our next heat, Matt McQuiston of the USA will take lane number 1, Ben Gutsky, USA, lane 2, Stephen Bradley, USA, in lane 3, and Cameron Day of USA in lane number 4. Another All-American heat, the stars and bars. Just getting lane number 1 cleaned up and reset for Mr. McQuiston. Most valuable piece of equipment right there, the leaf blower. Making sure every athlete has a pristine platform to lift on.
Here we go. 3 athletes heading up to the 750. 5 reps is the reps to beat, with Luke Davies and Matt McKeegan taking that top spot.
Bradley locks out the first rep with the heavy axle. Going for 2. McQuiston fighting that grind.
He got it though.
Stephen Bradley on the way up with 4.
Successful rep number 4.
He is good for 5, but can he do 6? Bradley coming up for 5.
Now he's trying to move in. Bradley able to tie 3 ways for the lead with 10 seconds left.
A 3-way tie with 10 seconds left is not enough time for Bradley, although he will try, and it is futile.
Phenomenal pulling. Stephen Bradley joins
So we'll have 3 in joint first with only 1 heat left. Can we see anybody beat that 5 reps?
They will be hard pressed, but this is a strong heat right here. Justin Loy will take lane number 1 of the USA. Nick Hine, USA in lane 2. Christopher Otero, USA in lane 3. And Tim Mikowski wearing the gold leader shirt in lane number 4. Classic Chris Otero, all smiles as he begins. 5 reps. Is split 3 ways, tied for first.
Here we go.
Athletes are away, all 4 strapping on to the 750-pound or 340 kg axle. 6 reps is what you need if you want to lead outright. It's a 3-way tie right now with 5. Mikowski is the first to get a rep. Nick Hine now, swinging hard. He's got 2 reps.
There are reps on the board across the field. Otero could take this. He's moving the best out of all of them. Looks like he's simply standing up with that bar. Otero, 5, our new leader. Otero takes it.
Wow.
And 7 just because.
He looks round. Doesn't need it.
He does not need it. Takes about the aerial view. That is our scores for the 105 kilo class. Otero with 7 reps in first, and a 3-way tie for second place from Davies, McKeegan, and Bradley. Candido is the only athlete to get 4 reps for a 5th place finish, and we have a 5-way split. 3 repetitions securing a 6th place tie from Hanner, Francis, Walton, Sokup, and Hine. Tight grouping. Candido, the only one to get 4, though, sets him apart and gets him 33 points. BJ Goss, Thomas Owens, Harrelson, Mikowski, and Loy. A 5-way split for 11th place with Matt McQuiston, the only other athlete to get 1 rep on the heavy axle. A well-fought battle at that. All the other athletes get stuck at 6:45, but amass their points. That's some big points. Buxton gets 21 for his 6 reps there.
Yep.
A lot of 3-rep ranges for 7 of our athletes here in this page, with Doggett, Norton, and Pruitt only getting 2 on the 645-pound bar. As we work our way down, we have only 1 more page. Flasca and Bell are the last 2 athletes to get just 1 rep, but they each amass 6.5 points, where everyone else from Capadoni down to Bromley will get 0. Don Alimo was a little bit underperformed, taking that gamble and missing out any points on that deadlift. So he's making it for lost ground, as I imagine these other 2 guys are as well.
Absolutely, yeah. And you can see that John was off to a really quick start, and then the other 2 athletes have eclipsed John. But, you know, it is interesting for, Mr. Alimo. He actually tore his hamstring not too long ago, and I think I mentioned it yesterday. I'm rather surprised to even see him able to compete this weekend with how severe the hamstring was reported to be torn. So I'm just impressed that he's even moving those bags down the field.
He might be feeling that hamstring right now. That Husafel seems to be a very, very intense challenge for all of the athletes throughout the day. Some do well, and some just get completely beaten by it.
Yeah, it is a very challenging implement, and there's, the way that I see it, there's 3 primary techniques. You can pick it up like a traditional Husafel while it's still standing up. You have to have a bit more mobility for that. That usually is going to involve some squatting. You lean it forward, you grab under the outer jutting, we'll say, about mid-bag, pull it nice and tight and squat up and then bump it into more of a traditional like front carry position. The second technique is going to be pushing it flat and then grabbing, kind of like a sandbag, grabbing just above the center point, pulling it to the lap, and then carrying like a traditional Husafel. And then the third technique, which we saw quite a bit in the lightweight categories and in the women, is just leaning it to its side and grabbing horizontally. But I think that a lot of the athletes are going to struggle to use that third technique. I think the majority of athletes that we're going to see are going to be using one of the first 2 techniques for this.
We'll see. There's a lot of flavors in different techniques here, for sure, especially when you have athletes of all body frames and from all corners of the world. But they do what makes it work, what works for them. Darcy Flasco of Canada takes lane number 1 in this heat. Gavin Bell, USA in lane 2. DJ Doggett in lane 3, USA, and Kyle Norton, Australia in lane 4.
Yeah, and speaking of different techniques, you can see that lane 1 is elected to take a different technique than lane 2, 3, and 4 with the sandbag. There are just different techniques, in every single one of these. And in lane 3, you saw the push down and pick up technique by Mr. DJ, and then in lane 4, you saw that first technique with Kyle, just the traditional, more Husafel pickup.
DJ Doggett seems to be a master of movement, but Kyle Norton starting to accelerate. Can he close the distance?
Absolutely.
Oh, Gavin Bell. I think Norton may have taken that.
Yeah, that was that was a really close finish between lanes 2, 3, and 4.
Yeah, Doggett was well ahead off the start with the sled, but Norton punched the gas.
Absolutely, and so you can see Darcy still fighting for every inch there. Brutal event. To exert yourself completely for something like 40 to 60 seconds, that is exhausting, and a lot of people don't know what that feels like, honestly.
No. And now, Zach, on the sled, when it does stop like that, how much effort does it take to get it started again?
Oh yeah, that's a fantastic question. It takes more effort than to keep it moving. And so, yeah, the people that can keep it moving is actually very advantageous to keep the sled moving because it's slightly less friction. Once you stop, it is actually more friction to overcome to get it moving again. So you have to actually work harder. It's like physics has programmed in a little bit of a punishment for you and your need to take a rest.
Yeah, I'm getting that impression every time I see an athlete stop, and you see that instantaneous grimace of pain, like, how am I going to get this moving again?
Just no.
Gabe Balacio was turned on right there. You saw in his facial expression. Gavin Bruce is in lane 4. That's our Scotsman. In lane 2 will be Kyle Gearns of USA. And lane 1, Tyler Pruitt of the USA. USA, and Scotland on this heat.
Yeah, and some of these athletes have not, some of the athletes have not even touched one of these Husafel sandbags. And so I think that does make an interesting experience, does have a huge factor in this. And, we see Tyler taking that shove down and pick up technique right there. Tyler and Gavin leading the way in this heat, lane 1 and 4. Tyler getting the bag in first and getting off to a good start, but it looks like they're neck and neck at the moment. They're shoving it along. Gabe in with the sandbag in lane 3.
And they're be close.
They're
Tyler,
really neck and neck. Oh.
Well, Gavin pulls ahead and gets it.
Yep, I would agree. Scotland coming in clutch.
That has been a trend we have seen repeatedly told here at OSG. Scotland can move on moving events. Gabe Balacio is the last to get there, but he does.
There you go. The whole heat finishes.
All 4 athletes complete the course for that heat. Damon Curtis of the USA takes lane 1 in the next heat. Philippe Dumont-Bouchard of Canada in lane number 2. Cameron Day of USA in lane 3. And Adam Kempton of Wales in lane number 4.
Excellent. And so I do, with the lighter athletes earlier today, I was watching some of them leaning the sandbag away from the sled to pick it up because that's the comfortable way that they're used to doing it. They're used to leaning the sandbag one particular way, and they happen to lean it away from the sled, which makes them have to take an extra step or two to get it to the sled. I don't think it's going to be as much of a factor as far as techniques are concerned with these 105 athletes, since we probably won't see that technique employed as much. But it's interesting to see the different techniques taken and how many different combinations of different techniques that these athletes can use to successfully complete the event.
One of the things I'm noticing is when the athletes do that push down, I like to see it when the athlete has a hand ready to catch it. But some of these athletes, when they just slam it down and then get their hands under, spend a lot of time really trying to wrestle their hands into position. And it winds up eating, in my opinion, more time than it should.
Absolutely. I think that you're spot on with that analysis. I'm not surprised that you are spot on with that analysis because you would know very well. But it's a game of efficiency. This is an event that is judged in fractions of a second. And as such, if you are not shaving off every 1/10 of a second that you can, you may find yourself losing positions and losing points.
Cameron Day gets his Husafel into the sled and is out the gates on the return leg of his journey. Philippe Dumont-Bouchard is the next one to the sled. He charges into it like a bull, but it looks like Cameron will be able to get the job done. Philippe Dumont-Bouchard, the acceleration. And look at him. Even though Cameron gets it, Philippe was right there.
Absolutely, and it seems that sled, there's a couple different techniques on the sled. I've seen a couple. Have you seen any that seem a bit more effective than others?
I've noticed throughout the day that the athletes that right off the bat tend to get that chest on the bar and have those 3 points of contact, 2 points with each hand and 1 point with the chest, that gives them a very direct start. Some of the heavier athletes, like in the open category or the heavyweight masters categories, had enough body weight to where they could have extended arms, but that chest point of contact seems to be a big determinant with this one.
Absolutely, and I also, to add on to that, I also see athletes that are moving really quickly with the sled. It seems that they're grabbing onto those bars and they're actually, as you mentioned, getting a ton of pressure with the chest forward and slightly up. The athletes that are able to pressure the back of the sled slightly up tend to be really effectively driving into the sled and then also able to keep a lot of traction with the feet because that sled is so heavy. We're talking about a sled that is 3-4 times as heavy as their own body weight.
Yeah, that's a lot of steel on that sled. One thing I wanted to ask you, because you were on the floor, are the judges looking to see if the athletes are lifting up the sled in the back end? Is that a critique of theirs?
I actually do not know. I've been in charge of throwing them around the weights today and changing out weights and
not making the tough
coordinating.
Calls,
yeah,
lifting the tough things.
I have not been on the judging side this weekend. More of coordination and moving heavy things around.
Gotcha. Dylan Darmstaedter of the USA in lane 1, Ben Gutsky, USA in lane 2, Aiden Howell of the USA in lane 3, and Tyler Buxton of the USA in lane 4, completing an All-American heat here. Despite competing in a weight class heavier from not weighing in, Dylan Darmstaedter is really holding his own here.
Yeah, that's quite impressive, and that is a very neck and neck. That's very neck and neck. Everybody getting to that second sandbag. I was expecting Aiden and Tyler to be leading this pack, but it's very, very close. And Aiden is shoving away. He is really able to move. He's such an athletic 105. Used to be a 90-kilo guy, but just has a ton of power, very athletic. I think he comes from a weightlifting background, if I'm not mistaken.
He's so ballistic when he needs to be, and that is an asset to have. I'm unfamiliar with his weightlifting background, but a very capable athlete nonetheless. He will be the leader of that heat. And the new event leader with a time of 34.53 seconds, Buxton, 36.03, and Bruce now moves down to third. Nope, Darmstaedter edges him out, 38.16 seconds.
Wow, so we had 3 of the top 3 in the last heat.
And that is a trend we see completely repeated. But Aiden Howell has officially broken that 35-second threshold. It is amazing to see that heat. This next heat starts with Matt McQuiston of the USA in lane 1, BJ Goss of Canada in lane 2, Thomas Owens of England in lane 3, and Josh Harrelson of the USA in lane 4. This will be one to watch. I know at the Shaw Classic I saw Matt McQuiston, and I called him Matt McQuiston because he moves very fast. And this is an event where he will get to shine with that name, I'm hoping. Unless he's feeling that fatigue from squeaking out that one rep at the 750 on the deadlift.
And so, yeah, you mentioned Matt McQuiston being quick. It looks like he's also highly technical. Did you see him lean that sandbag towards the sled at the start? That was a very smart move. Excellent pivot. And he's not wasting any steps. He's not wasting any steps.
McQuiston is in the lead, but Hanner putting the pressure.
Yeah, so McQuiston and looks like...
Look at that acceleration. Matthew McQuiston, the quick. That is Matthews. He lives up to the name.
I was going to say living up to the name.
Mr. McQuixton there. Wow, all 4 athletes finished with a blazing fast time.
And I think that heat really highlighted the importance of efficiency of movement, because all those athletes finished within about a second and a half, 2 seconds of each other, would you say?
Yes, and I'm seeing the official time. McQuiston edges out Darmstadter for a 3rd place finish, 36.19. Aiden Howell remains untouched. Sub 35. The mark is 34.53 seconds to beat. Tim Mikowski of the USA will take lane number 1 in this next heat. Justin Loy, USA in lane 2. Jared Henner, USA in lane 3. And Boyd Francis of England in lane number 4. Do you have a pick in this heat, Zach?
Oh, man. That's a tough one. I am going to put my chips down on Justin Loy. What about you?
He is a name that we are all familiar with, and it is just simply that resume of prestige that he carries with him that leads us to think that. However, these athletes, if we look at all the points amassed, Justin Lloyd does have quite a bit more than the rest, with Boyd being behind him. However, we can assume that Lloyd will dominate this based off of that accumulation.
So what's your pick?
I'm going to pick Lloyd. It looks like Mikowski is going to be giving him the biggest run. Mikowski did have a leader shirt on going into the deadlift.
And he's fast,
and
too.
that was gained from the yoke.
Yeah, he's quick. He's quick on his feet.
Both guys prioritizing speed, so they didn't necessarily get a high pick. It does not matter with the strength they possess.
Yeah, so we'll see. It looks like they're both moving really effectively here.
Looks
and
like
Justin's
Lloyd
pulling away just a little bit.
There we go.
Yeah, and there it is. Justin Loy coming in first in the heat. Tim coming in second in the heat. And looks like Boy is going to come in third for this heat. Jared's still working. Pushing. And we see that other technique being employed. He's really driving with his hands, not really getting the chest on the sled. He's driving forward, but not a lot of upward pressure. I think one of the major issues, if you look at his feet are kind of sliding a little bit, and that's one of the issues with such a heavy sled on this surface with that technique, is you actually don't get enough traction on the feet. It's not that he's not strong enough, it's that the technique isn't quite right for this situation. So that's it's one of the things you have to be aware of when you're competing at World Championships.
Indeed, and our strength is built from the ground up, so you need to not only be thinking about that footwear choice, but also thinking about how that surface is going to feel under it and analyzing every detail of that sled.
Absolutely.
Our next heat, Josh Walton of England in lane number 1, Alex Sokup of USA in lane number 2, Nick Hine, USA in lane 3, and Kevin Candido, USA in lane number 4. Another roster full of powerful names. The game faces, the focus. Sokup did stop himself from attempting another deadlift rep, hopefully from nothing pushing too far past the limit, but he is one half of the Sokup brother powerhouse here. The winner of the Shaw Classic this year.
Yeah, and at this point we have just killer after killer.
Yes.
This is a very stacked 105 class, but these last couple heats, every one of these athletes is dangerous in almost every single event. I do think Alec is going to be off quick here. He's a very effective mover, very efficient. He's very meticulous in his preparation, and he doesn't waste any bit of effort. You can see him off to an incredible start.
And Nick Hine is currently first overall and giving him a lot of pressure in his own, but you just can't keep up with Sokup.
Yeah, very swift, very effective. I do think with that kind of sled movement, he's going to be, we'll say, sliding into first.
Yeah. Oh, nice job, sir. There's that classic roar from Alec.
Yeah, I do think that he will probably edge out Mr. Howell, and we'll see where the other athletes place. He may have effectively put a couple athletes between him and Nick, which he's going to need if he wants to push himself back up into first.
We have done it. Or Alec has done it, I should say. Alex Sokup breaks the 30-second threshold with the fastest time of any athlete today, 28.66 seconds, blazing fast, with Nick Hine edging into second, 34.24 seconds. a quarter of a second faster than Aiden Howell. Your top 3 athletes are all under 35 seconds, with Sokup under 30.
That is flying. So coming up next in lane 1, we have Luke Davies from Wales. In lane 2, we have Matt McKeegan from Ireland. In lane 3, we have Stephen Bradley from the USA. And in lane 4, we have Mr. Christopher Otero. His deadlift was insane, right?
Brother, he could have done well into double digits, but he didn't need to.
Yeah, he pulled 6 and then smiled, and then didn't he pull a second one just for the crowd? And I think he shook his head yes.
Yep, he
said,
did.
Yes, that one was for you. That was for the celebration, for the love of the game, we'll say. And then he just shut it down.
He did, and so we can expect some good things from him. Looking at all the points amassed, Luke Davies is ranked 13 with all these other guys well into the top 10, but that is some pressure on Davies if he wants to advance into the finals tomorrow.
Who's your pick for this heat? Quick.
Otero.
Oh, Steven. I'm going Steven. Here we go. They're all dangerous. We could pick anybody and be right here. I mean, come on.
We can. Steven does seem to have faster footwork.
Wow. All these guys are so fast. I mean, we're talking about these athletes lifting 100 pounds over their body weight with that second bag and then really pushing the sled 3-4 times their body weight.
Otero is not moving that fast on the sled.
It looks like Steven is coming in first in lane 3. Lane 2 with Matthew McKeegan coming in second in lane 4.
Otero almost got edged out by Davies, but that is some big points for our Welshman in lane 1.
Absolutely, and that was all very good times. I don't think they'll be cracking the top 3, but those are all very good times. Strength and athleticism, which is really the sport. I mean, hey, isn't that the sport?
Indeed. Look at all of these placings. From place 1 to 10, every athlete is 36 seconds or less. That is insane, and that just speaks to the raw talent and power of this category. Any single one of these, if you mix them in with a lesser group of individuals, would have blown them out of the water. But there are 10 places of difference from Sokup in first all the way down to Matt McKeegan in 10th.
Absolutely. And if you look placing 3rd through 10th, that was about 2.5 seconds. That's very little room for mistakes.
And even on this page, from 11 through 20, we don't get into the 40-second plus territory until we get to 19th place with BJ Goss.
Less than 3 seconds difference from 11th to 20th.
This is what I meant when I started my commentary today. The margin for error is so small. Every little hiccup, every step, every mispick is tremendously costly. From Christopher Otero in 21st place all the way down to Gabe Balacio in 28th, these are the remaining athletes who completed the whole medley. Jared Hanner and Darcy Flaska will get a measurement.
Holy cow, that is just a very, very tight field.
And the remaining athletes do not get to complete the Husafel. They are only graded and credited for a cylinder bag. Ladies and gentlemen, it has been great to have America's Strongest Man, Zach McCarley, to help me break down all the action. We were at the edge of our seats there.
That was exciting. That was really cool.
Pick on this heat, Zach.
Oh, man. Both of these guys are very good at this. I would actually, the starting, I'm going to say Aiden. I'm going to go with Aiden, but both of them are dangerous in this event. I mean, they're both very dynamic. You can see Aiden just made a small mistake right there. Yeah, so
he was moving so fast, took that gamble of not looking back, and now has a critical retoss.
Yep. And we'll see if Kevin can capitalize on that. I mean, both of them are very capable of finishing these throws. But the question is, can they finish them after that extremely heavy deadlift just yesterday?
Right, at the challenge of who had the better recovery. Howell is now on the final bag, 55 pounds.
It looks like both of them made it to the final bag but did not finish. I think 55 is well within the ability of a lot of the athletes in this field for the 105s. I've seen several of them throw 55, but again, this is the 3rd day of competition. This is the 5th event of the weekend, and the events prior will have taken a toll. That yoke on day 1, just smashing the spine down, and then yesterday, them having to deal with that deadlift. I think a lot of the athletes are going to find that 55 to feel a lot heavier than they did in training.
I think so too, and it's no surprise we're seeing a lot of athletes with excessive tape or support gears coming out. Not these two perhaps, but we've seen it. They are a bit battered at this point. Matt McKeegan of Ireland will take lane number 1. That's Josh Walton of England in lane 2, and they are off. McKeegan is blazing through the series.
Flying, yeah. He's a very efficient athlete, very quick. He's made up a lot of, wow, that is, he smoked that series. Okay, so that was about as quick as you can do that, really.
That was a perfect run from Matt
was
McKeegan.
Very near perfect, and he's going to need that if he wants to push himself back up onto that podium. I think these athletes have enough time to gain a ton of ground because we've only done 4 out of 7 events of the weekend, so there's 3 more today. We're just a little bit over halfway through the available points, and a lot of the ground that's been lost up into this point can be gained depending on the performance of the other athletes. So you can see Matt's excited about that. He I think that's very justified because that could push him a good halfway back up to the podium.
It could indeed. He looked. That was finesse. It was finesse and it was power, and no surprise, McKeegan has been repeatedly here at this arena. Back with a vengeance. Justin Loy and Matt McQuiston, both of the USA, are here in this next heat. McKeegan, our current leader and the only athlete to complete all 6 bags over the bar. 17.59 seconds set by McKeegan.
That is fast. That's quite fast.
Less than 3 seconds every bag.
Yeah, especially for 6 bags, that is flying. These guys going quick. Matt living up to his nickname you gave him, McQuixton.
Matt McQuixton, and he does it.
Wow. Okay, so we're going to see, we're possibly going to see Matthew McKeegan's time challenged here.
McQuiston had that slight moment of pause as he brought that last bag back, and that was an element missing on McKeegan's performance. So I think McKeegan will stay in the lead with McQuiston behind him, and Loy, unfortunately, is struggling on this last bag, but I can think of 55 reasons why.
Yeah, right. I would agree with your analysis as well, actually. I think McQuiston's going to find himself slipping into second, but we're going to find out here.
The finger guns.
Yeah, yes, he gave us the finger guns. I looked away. I can't believe I missed it.
Oh, no. You can get that replay right here.
All right. And it's fun to watch the finals because every one of these guys is a killer, and I think that anything can happen at this point, really. Like it can mix up quite a bit. I think I think in this class at least, Alex Sukup is kind of the one to beat at this moment, but I think everyone else is really challenging for 2, 3, 4, like the whole way.
Indeed. Bradley versus Otero, USA v. USA here. Bradley is moving fast and with speed, but remember, Otero was our dominant deadlifter yesterday.
Yeah, so Steven really taking his time with those throws. It looks like he has a ton of power, but his transitions are a little slow. And so maybe he's just concerned about this last bag, and he's really gambled a lot to finish the series.
A gamble that pays off, though. Yep. That's big points.
Yeah.
So far, he makes 3 guys who have completed the full series. Otero stalls out on the 50-pound bag.
Yeah, and perhaps that was a calculated, calculated thing from Steven. That was, he knew I just need to finish this series. It's going to put me in a good spot. Maybe he saw something in the warm-up room, because that's something that some people at home don't realize is a lot of these guys are in the back warming up and kind of watching each other saying, okay, how are they going to perform? How are they going to perform? How many points do I have to make up on these other people? Oh, it looks like only a couple guys are really handling that 55-pound bag well. If I even finish the series, then I'm going to take top 3, and that's going to be enough to push me up.
Indeed. This is our final heat. Alex Sukup sits in second place currently, and Nick Hine is in first. This is a battle for the top, and if these guys want to win, not only do they need to smash 20 seconds, they need to smash 17.59 seconds by McKeegan.
Wow, both these guys are so quick. And Nick, he's flying through this series. He's a very explosive, very powerful athlete. Really fun to watch, too.
Ooh, neither will beat to the top. Both needing to retoss one of their bags.
It looks like both of them are taking a little bit more of a conservative approach.
15 seconds left.
Ooh.
Oh, so if he can't finish that 5th bag, oh my goodness, this is going to shake things up. Both of them are on bag 5, if I'm not mistaken.
Gets that 5th bag over. 5 seconds, gentlemen.
And that's going to change things up a little bit, I think.
Big time. You saw that battery dwindle as they had to retoss. Both were off so well, but they know that this is a points game. What's done is done. On to the wrecking ball hold and the stones after. That is an incredible amount of weight to be hanging from the hands.
And I do, for the people at home that are curious, I got a chance to chat with many of the 105s this weekend, and chatting with Aiden, he had actually mentioned earlier this weekend, I can't quite recall what event it was, but he mentioned that he had actually dislocated his thumb here this weekend already in this competition. So you can see that his left hand is actually wrapped, and that is from that thumb dislocation. So he's really, he's been nursing that, but he's tough.
Nothing like a dislocated thumb to make 600 pounds hurt even more hanging from your hands.
Absolutely.
It's going to be some tender tissue all around. Aiden is showing, well, Loy has a bit more of the quivers.
Absolutely. And yeah, I saw the first signs of strain with Aiden as well, but then it seems like he kind of regrouped, repositioned a little bit, and now it's looking like Justin's, and Aiden's starting to drop the stone down just a little bit.
He might get flagged for some knee bending.
Yeah.
Loy goes down first, unfortunately.
Yeah. And this is a good first heat, like these are all of the guys at this point are killers. Aiden and Justin are out at this point, but Christopher and Kevin are still in it. Kevin's starting to shake a little bit, showing some signs of strain. Christopher is looking steady, just looking like he's. And so Kevin's out. I think Christopher is going to give us that classic smile. I think the crowd needs it. He can't hear what we're saying, but I think he's about to smile real big here in a minute.
I think so too. It's Chris Otero, the dominant deadlifter yesterday. 600 pounds in his hands. He's getting close.
Yep, he's got to stay tough. He's got to keep that posture before that stone actually hits the platform underneath. You can see him breathing through. And you can see the daylight under the stone from that front camera angle. Starting to show some signs of strain. Mark is giving him words of encouragement right there. I believe Mark is the deadliest lifter, is what he goes by.
Is.
A fantastic lifter in his own right, really fun to watch. Also a very nice guy. Christopher looks like he just came down with it. That's a pretty darn good time, I'll tell you what.
It is indeed, and he will be our current event leader after Heat 1 is done. Chris Otero, the strongest deadlifter of this class and the current leader.
All right.
He may have passed the 2-minute mark with 600 pounds. Wow.
That's fantastic. Yeah, and you can see this camaraderie with Aiden helping Christopher down the stairs. Christopher really giving it his all and then having no time to recover before being told, hey, we got to get the next 4 athletes up here. So, that's your reward for holding it for a little over likely 2 minutes. 132 seconds. My mistake. 132 seconds. Here's your reward. Please shuffle off while we bring on the next 4 victims. I mean, athletes.
A full minute longer than Candido.
Oh man, that's a good hold. That's a good one.
That was that coveted 2-minute mark you were talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Our next heat: Josh Walton of England in lane 1, Matt McKeegan of Ireland on number 2, Matt McQuiston USA in number 3, and Alex Sokup USA in number 4. McQuiston and Sokup are currently tied for 3rd. McKeegan is in 5th. And Josh Walton is in 6th. Again, the points are not up to date on these guys, but you can follow along on officialstrongman.com where you are tuning in right now. Is that McKeegan's ink work I'm seeing? I see another Pokemon lover right there.
There we go.
He's got a Voltorb, Gengar, and Squirtle. I remember all these names.
There we go. Some of the original 150,
The original
151.
Don't even talk to me about all the other ones that they kept
yeah.
pumping out. It's all about the 151.
Yeah, sorry. The only. And if you got a problem, come fight me.
There we go. Bring your best 6. I hope they're all level 99. Wonder if McKeegan's got it in his head. I want to be the very best. Hopefully.
He better.
Yeah.
He better. If he wants to be here, I know he wants to be the very best.
Well, he really showed us on that sandbag toss. And McKeegan is a returning force here at the OSG Finals. But this is a densely packed heat of talent on its own. England, Ireland, and double USA contesting the 600-pound wrecking ball hold. This is going to be a good heat. But following up Chris Otero, over 2 minutes, no easy task.
Absolutely, and so I'm getting some just points on some paper. So for the people at home that are curious, Josh is sitting with 25 points. Matt is sitting with 28.5 points. Or sorry, Matt McKeegan, Matt McQuiston or McQuixton. Let's hope he's not quick on this one.
No, I hope he's Matt McSlowston. Matt McLongston.
Matt McLongston is with 29 points. So the Matts are only separated by a half a point. And then we have Alex Sukup with 33.5 points right now. Only 1 point out from second, where Nick is sitting with 34.5. And then Steven currently in first by 1 point with 35.5. We'll see Nick and Steven up in a minute. But right now we have Josh in lane 1, Matt McKeegan in lane 2, Matt Quiston in lane 3, and then Alex Sukup in lane 4. You got me in my brain, bro.
Got you, man. I have penetrated the depths of your mind.
Don't use that word.
Matt McKeegan has a very narrow stance here as he is zoned in a different plane of existence from the rest, it looks like. Alex Sukup looking up to the sky.
These guys are looking steady.
The wrecking balls are not moving either. We're not seeing the quivers yet. These Mike Bartos Stones of Steels are packed to the max with steel on the inside. McKeegan may be the first to go down.
You can see his shoulder starting to go forward, and it looks like he's starting to go out as well. You know, a little bit of too much demand on the body. He's got to take a quick breather. Got a little wobbly right there, just taking a breath, bringing himself back to life. Josh looks like he's showing the next signs of, a drop right there. So Josh is out, and we still have Matt McQuiston.
Well, you have to really try there.
I have to read it on the screen. And you got it in my brain, bro. And then we got Alex Sukup. Matt McQuiston is out, and we got Alex Sukup going for the long haul. He wants to go the distance. And
he knows Otero went over 2 minutes, and Sukup is always wanting to prove his strength.
His head is down. You know, that's what I don't like to see. When the head drops like that, that's usually when people are starting to have some issues. You can see Alec is, his body's starting to say, okay, I'm going to turn the lights off real quick. And just a quick reset. Can we get some music of boom, 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 boom? So Windows reset. That was an excellent performance by those 4 athletes, and it looks like we're going to have the scoreboard refreshed.
Yep, Sukup is now in second place with 109.71 seconds, right behind Otero. McQuiston edges his way into third, 93.59 seconds. This is still requiring the athlete who wants to be up top to get at least a minute and a half or more. Nick Hine of the USA and Stephen Bradley of the USA are your current leaders. And like you mentioned, Zach, there is only 1 point of difference between these two. And that was not a lot of gap of difference between Sukup and Hine to begin with. So a very closely contested podium as it stands. 1 point also for Sukup and Hine. But that is good points for Sukup. Otero gaining some valuable points as well, but the story will continue to be told here on this final heat with our current leaders.
Absolutely. And so this is a crucial heat right here because, you know, as you just mentioned, Alec is sitting 1 point back from Nick, and Nick is sitting 1 point back from Steven, and those three are really in the hunt for first place. I know that they're all sitting on the podium right now, and maybe at home people are thinking like, man, I wish I was on the podium. All these guys did not come to sit on the podium. They came to be at the top of it.
Yeah.
You know, and I know that they're hungry for that, and so they're all fighting for that position. So, you know, these athletes are getting dialed. They're just getting their heights set up and making sure everything's right. We got Gabby right there, a professional strong woman and very successful competitor in her own right. And again, Mark down on the left, getting everything set up for Nick. So only 1 point separates first to second and second to third. And it'll be interesting because Alec is currently sitting in second.
And they are up.
Off they go. 600 pounds hanging
All
on
right,
those
here we
105
go.
kilogram hands.
Posture-wise, like, you know, looking at their steadiness, they both look very steady. I see both their heads kind of pointed down a little bit, though, which, you know, what do you feel about that? Like, I'm really big on posture, and I think that it matters quite a bit. Like, I have my opinions, but I'm curious to hear your opinions.
I'm big on posture, too. I think looking down could cause the neck to flex a little bit excessively. However, it looks like in the case of Stephen Bradley, he's helping to engage his traps a little bit, which could be good, although if you're engaging the traps more and actively flexing them, they're going to get pulled down sooner or later. So that downforce may wind up working against him. I think right now this is just finding that neutral comfort zone. I would rather be looking straight or slightly down than looking up there, I'll tell you that.
Absolutely.
Like Nick Hine looking straight up there, I think that's a sign of last-ditch effort, in my opinion.
Absolutely. You can see Steven shift to that backward position. I do like Steven's shoulders better. You can see that his shoulders are back. It's allowing the weight to come through his center of mass a little bit more effectively. Nick's shoulders are forward. It's really thrashing his upper thoracic spine. He's got an incredibly developed upper back, so he can probably take it. It's perfectly fine for him because he's just a monster. But it's going to wear those muscles out more swiftly, and this is not a game of, you know, how many times can you lift something up once or twice? This is how long can you hold the load and how long are you willing to suffer? So we have Steven dropping it right there. That was a really good effort. I would say that probably puts him in the top four.
Top four. Hine will edge out McQuiston into top three, and out go the lights.
Yeah. And so he really gave it his all, and that's something that we see sometimes. It's just the body saying like, hey, you have surpassed your limit. We gotta shut it down for your own safety.
Yeah, he's okay. I don't know if that was long enough to edge out Alex Sokup, but that will leave Chris Otero as the event winner of the Animal Wrecking Ball hold.
Absolutely.
That's all right. Nick Hine in third place with 104.75. The points get shaken up a bit. Alex Sokup getting some valuable points in second place, and Otero 132.47 seconds stands. What are you seeing, Zach?
Oh, my goodness. So I'm looking at, for those of you at home, if you're not having the live sheet up, you should go to the website and pull it right on up, because we just got an update that the current tie for first place at this moment is Alex Sokup with 42.5 points and Nick Hine with 42.5 points. Of course,
So
those two are tied, but only 1 point behind is Mr. Stephen Bradley. So at this point, as it stands, whoever wins, if one of those three wins the stones, they could very well take the whole thing.
Wow. Take the whole thing is what they came here to do. Aiden Howell of the USA will take lane 1, and Justin Loy of the USA in lane number 2. Zach, a 400-pound stone, waits these guys at the end. It is a big ask.
You know, I think these are the right guys to ask.
I think so, too. They're up to the task, and Aiden's unkept mullet is definitely ready to lift that.
Absolutely, yeah. You know, both of these guys, well, all these athletes have really had a long weekend, and this is the last of 7 events of the weekend, but you can see that they're still just going for it. And Aiden's on to the 4th stone. Looks like Justin just loaded his 5th stone, looking at that 400.
Here it is, Justin Loy getting a little bit of extra sticky on his hands. The 400, will we see it go up?
10 seconds.
10 seconds left.
Yeah, so he's going to have to go now. A very solid pick. He's got to grip and roll those hips under, get those hips back. Roll the hips under, shoulders back, chin up, trying to get that up the thoracic spine. It's, Stones is one of those fun events that is really an entire body lift, and to do it at the end of the contest is both fitting, but it is also an incredibly large ask after already performing 6 events.
Indeed. Our next heat, Kevin Candido of the USA will take the left lane, while Josh Walton of England will take the right. Zach, one thing I'm noticing when it comes to that 6th and final stone, especially with as heavy as these stones are, when you hear that 10-second mark be called and the athlete hasn't taken off the ground, it does not seem like enough time for the effort that has to be exerted to get that stone to the platform.
Yeah, at the point at which you hear 10 seconds left, it means you have to be in the process of you're already committed to the lift. And if you hear 10 seconds, it is go now. You do not have time to breathe, think about it, anything like that. And you've got to be able to go just on the spot. But at the end of the series, a 6-stone series, it's a big ask.
A big ask indeed, and some of those grinds up to the platform can take a long time in elapsed seconds. Candido and Walton are now on to the 2nd stone. That is their 300. On to the 325. Candido slightly pulling ahead as he gets it with ease. The stones continue to rise in weight.
Candido to the 375. He's retacking real quick.
Both men have
That's his 350, isn't it?
That's 350 right there. Up next will be the 375 for Candido, and Walton gets stuck.
He's got to get that chin up. You can see that he's standing very upright in that load position, and he's looking straight over the stone. It's a tough ask, but if he could get his chin up, it opens more real estate in that upper thoracic spine and allows him to pull the stone up his body a little higher, so that makes that load just that much easier.
You're really getting an impression for how fried these athletes' backs are when they struggle to get that final inch or two up onto the platform. We saw it with Candido right there on that 375 attempt. It just did not happen. There's that classic Chris Otero smile. He's so pumped to be here.
The absolute winner of the happiest 105.
I could not agree more. Matt McKeegan of Ireland will take the left-hand side, while our smiling man, Chris Otero, will take the right.
I love the contrast of these two. Matt is all business, very serious right now, and Christopher is just having a fantastic time, just waving at the camera, grinning. Let's see which one of these guys can put a bigger dent in this event. Any predictions?
I think McKeegan will take this one, to be honest. Although Otero has the deadlift ability.
Oh, my goodness. Wow.
Ooh, McKeegan gets stuck. I might be eating my words. Otero pulls ahead onto the 3rd stone.
Well, that's the tricky part about predictions is it's a prediction, and even though you have a very strong performance in an event, it doesn't mean that day of or at the end of a 7-event contest over 3 days that you can pull it out. But McKeegan coming from behind.
Here we go. A slip from McKeegan on the 375. Otero has found his bearings.
So he's got, great technique right there as far as getting caught on that lip. He moves his hands down under the stone, pushes up and forward, and rolls the stone over the lip. Very good grit right there. McKeegan's good for 5 stones. Both these guys are looking at that 6th stone, and looks like time's going to elapse.
Otero, I wish he had his wits about him and heard that 15-second call, because you saw him slapping his arms to get sticky again. There's just simply not enough time to do that.
Absolutely. Yeah. And so you see those guys have slid into second and third place, if I'm not mistaken. We need to get those times, but there have only been 3 athletes to load 5 stones so far. That's Justin Loy and then Christopher Otero and Matt McKeegan in that last heat. Next up is going to be Matt McQuiston or Matt McQuixton.
I'm hoping he can be very quick with getting that 400, which remains untouched and unloaded.
Yeah, and he'll be in lane 1, and then Stephen Bradley will be in lane 2, if I'm not mistaken.
That is correct. This is an all-American heat. Your athletes currently ranked 4th and 3rd. Matt McQuiston is 5.5 points behind Stephen Bradley. A stellar performance could take him up a few rankings. Now, Bradley is sitting in the bronze position currently. There is pressure for Stephen to do very well here, but that could also be the same about Matt.
Absolutely. And as a quick reminder for those of you that haven't seen the score sheet that is available on the website, there is a 1-point spread between the entire podium right now. So Stephen is 1 point out from first. Matt McQuiston, as you call me again, is about 5.5 points out from Stephen. And so Matt's got to put up a great performance, but Stephen has a ton of pressure on him at this moment, and so will the next 2 athletes up. So we see that Matt is through 4 stones. He's on to that 375, which is where a lot of guys have been either getting stuck or just barely finishing. You can see Matt, ooh.
He gets it there. The 400, this is big points. It might not have been the fastest to get there, but if Matt can do this, this could be what he needs to get to the bronze position. Ooh, that slip from Bradley.
That is going to hurt the point. So if Stephen cannot load this 5th stone, that is going to damage his points pretty good, unfortunately. I mean, and it's been a very long weekend.
The final stone remains unlifted. We have 2 athletes left, currently sitting atop the podium in the rankings. Nick Hine of the USA and Alec Sokup of the USA. If there are 2 athletes on this roster capable of lifting that 181.5 kilo stone, it is these 2 men right here.
Yeah, so I don't want to give away, and I'm not going to give away the ending, but I will say that these 2 are in a position. They just saw 3rd place go, who was trailing them by 1 point. These 2 are tied for 1st place. So really, if either one of these guys can finish 5 stones, they should have sufficient points to where this is just a head-to-head. This is basically just a head-to-head. Whoever finishes this heat first, if they get through 5 stones or more, whoever wins this heat will likely win the contest.
This is a battle for the crown. Who will become the world's strongest man under 105 kilograms? Will it be Justin Loy, lifting 5 stones in 37.27 seconds, who comes out on top of the Atlas stones? Or will Nick Hine prove to be stronger than Sokup? Hine and Sokup are in contention for the crown.
You know, and you bring up a great point, because there's one thing about winning the contest that's great, but like everybody wants to win the stones.
Oh, you know,
there's
I
just something
tossed the
special.
title around in our women's divisions, the Queen of the Stones. It is ever as illustrious to be dubbed the King of the Stones. You want that title just as much as you want to be the world's strongest man in this weight category.
Yeah, it's a point of pride. So here they go.
Athletes our way. Here comes stone number 1, 275.
Both athletes are to the first stone. It looks like they both loaded about simultaneously. Alec is a little quicker on stone 2, loaded just a little faster than Nick. Alex onto stone 3, loaded. Nick is just behind him, successfully loading 3 right now. Alex onto 4.
The 375 for Sokup will get to his lap and to the platform. I'm wondering if he has enough juice for the 400. This is a battle for the crown.
Yeah, so to seal the deal, Alec has to load this last stone. And if Nick does not make this last one, it's going to be very, well, I mean, mathematically he can't pull it out. So you can see Alex really trying for that 400.
Less than 10 seconds, and Nick Hine won't get the 375.
You know, and that just goes to show how much this competition has been, how much of a challenge this competition has been, because we had several athletes in this weight class that are capable of 400, 425-pound stone loads. That last stone is, we'll say only 400 pounds, but no one was able to load it.
No one was able to load it. It remains unlifted. Justin Loy was the leader going to this. Alex Sokup is the event winner with 29.43 seconds. That makes him, Alex Sokup, the victor, the world's strongest man under 105 kilograms. And he knows it. He hears it. That elation.
Yep, he knows what that comes out to.
That is your world champion, ladies and gentlemen. Alex Sokup. Reality is setting in. And the classic roar reverberating through the Alliant Energy Center here in Madison.
And you can tell that means a lot to him. He's, just he's just absolutely stoked about it. I know he's been working for this for a couple of years, and he is such a talented athlete, and still up and coming, really. Like, still has room for improvement. As crazy as that sounds, I mean, he's getting better and better, not just year to year, but
second place
like
from the United States, Nick Hine.
That is the story, and he is riding.
And your 2024 world's strongest 105-kilogram man, representing the United States, Alex Sokup.